tell them that you probably have to be done by like no later than 5:15. Just like like a little after 5.
Yeah. We're already
It's not bullshit, okay? Some real talk is facts.
The episode of Debate with Bake. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a special edition brought to you by Mo Serious Entertainment in the heart of Missouri City, Texas. That's right in Houston, Texas. For those who don't know or not affiliated, but we thank you all for coming on. My name is Charles Baker, Mr. AKA C Bake, and welcome to Debate Podcast. That's my co-host, my brother from another mother, Mr. New York City, Mr. AKA Five Boroughs, Mr. New York City, Mr. New York Nick, Mr. I guess New York Jets. Yes, sir. None other than the mother, Gerard Cole, aka Rude Boy. What's going on, brother?
What's good? What's good? How's it going down over there in H-Town?
How we doing good, man. We burning up, but we doing good, and we always get to bring up that we beat the Knicks in the NBA championship. We can always rub that in. But ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to get into that. You know, I can always get cold on that, but we got a special treat for you today. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat for you today. Before we get to that, though, let's pay some bills. Make sure you follow us on Mo Serious Entertainment on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to Mo Serious Entertainment on YouTube. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat for you today. As I said earlier, we have a guest today, and we want to thank this young man for coming on. He is a professional boxer. And just to give you a little bit of an introduction about today's guest, yes, he is a professional boxer with a professional record of 11-0 with 9 KOs. That is 81.82% knockout percentage. Yes, he fought on the David Benavidez card versus Plant. He fought on the Stephen Fulton card versus Roman. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this young man has sparred the likes, and you know I talk about this all the time, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Ryan Garcia. He is set to fight on the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Bud Crawford, barring that he gives an opponent. His nickname, AKA, is known as the War Machine. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We would like to give a big welcome to Demler Zamora III. What's going on, Demler?
Hey, guys.
What's good?
Good. Hey, man, shout out to you for coming on. We appreciate you giving us your time, man. We know you're a professional fighter, and this is big for us, man. We want to thank you. Shout out to your dad. Tell your dad thank you for allowing you to come on, but we thank you for coming on, man. We know you working in camp, staying in shape. You look thin. You look like you're ready to go. So good to have you, brother.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, cool. All right, then let's get into it, man. Yes, sir. Definitely deserve applause. So tell us as the audience, what started you or sparked your interest in boxing?
Well, me and my dad, my dad's a big boxing fan. He was always a big boxing fan. So we used to always watch the fights together. And Manny Pacquiao was still one of my favorite boxers. We would watch him fight and watch Floyd fight. And so I was around 8 years old. My dad, he took me to the Floyd Mayweather boxing camp in the summer. So I was about 7 years old, getting ready to turn 8. And then we went there, and it was just it was love at first sight from there.
Now, you're speaking of Manny Pacquiao. You're of Filipino descent, right?
Correct? Yeah, half black and Filipino.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I like that combination. So now there's a famous video, and tell me if I got this right, but there's a famous video of you as a youngster working the pads with, is that Mr. Roger Mayweather
Yep.
at the Mayweather Boxing Club, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I watched that video. So tell us and tell the audience, how was that experience, and how did you guys even get linked with the Mayweather camp? Because that's big. I mean, I can't walk into Las Vegas and just go to the Mayweather Boxing Club. But tell us about that experience with Roger, and how'd you get over there? How'd you guys get that experience?
Well, back when I was going to the Mayweather gym, they had a summer camp, and they would do it every summer, and they would have a bunch of kids come in and train and work out. Keep the kids off the streets and stuff like that, and get them doing something, being active and busy. So I went and I was training, and Roger Mayweather, he noticed me, and he said he liked my talent, and he saw that I could be pretty good, and he wanted to train me. So he started training me on his own, and then even after the summer camp, I went to the gym, and he would always train me, and we would do mitts together all the time.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh man. Roger Mayweather, arguably one of the best trainers of all time, recognized you. Now, was that any pressure? I mean, I know you probably didn't know what that was at time, but how did you feel when you realized that? When you realized who Roger Mayweather was, when you realized where you were?
Well, like you said, I was a kid, so for me it was just training and having fun and stuff. But rest in peace, Roger Mayweather. Late great. Later on, when I got older, I really realized like a lot of my attributes now as a fighter is dedicated to what the foundation that he set for me when we were in the gym together. A lot of my defensive abilities, I give a big shout out to him on that.
That's crazy, because I was gonna ask you that. What was one of the qualities? What was something that you took away from him? Because I'm a big fan of Mayweather team. Baker will tell you all day. To me, he's the best fighter I ever seen in my life. One of the most skilled. So what was something that you took away besides the defense, like as far as like the training, the persistence, or anything like that?
He was just a great person, all around. Like I really felt like he was my uncle, like uncle to me, Uncle Roger. He was real. He was more than a coach to me, he saw my talent, like I said, and he really took care of me and showed me, not only just trained me, but really just mentored me as well.
Okay.
And if one aspect of my boxing that besides defense that I would say really that I took away from that was my counter punching as well.
I can see that from your videos.
Yeah, definitely. And that's definitely a Mayweather trait as well. Now you briefly answered this, but I want to know if it was anybody else. Was there anybody else other than, I know you said Pacquiao, but is there anybody else that also kind of inspired your interest in the sport of boxing other than Pacquiao?
Well, Floyd Mayweather also was a big inspiration. So Manny Pacquiao and Floyd, when I was a little kid, really influenced my decision on wanting to become a boxer.
Did you ever get a chance to do the pads or mitts with Floyd, or did you ever get a chance?
Never did the mitts with Floyd, but he watched me do mitts from time to time.
Okay.
And he was actually in my locker room for my last fight.
Oh, okay.
And he watched me fight too.
Okay.
So I do have a question. Being of Filipino descent, when him and both of them being your favorite boxers, who did you want to win, and how did you feel about that when you saw the outcome of the fight?
When they fought, they were both my favorite fighters, so I really couldn't pick, who I wanted to win, but it was a great fight for me to watch regardless.
Okay.
Now, did you take anything from Manny? I know you talked about taking things from Floyd and the Mayweather family. Did you take anything from Manny that you put in your game?
his explosiveness and his combination punching, I think I really like from Pacquiao. You know, we don't have the same style, but I do like his combination punching and his explosiveness in the ring.
Perfect, perfect. Now, Demon, let me ask you experience, and I mean, let me ask you a question about some experience you've had, and I want you to kind of do the best you can to relate this to our audience because, you know, I'm trying to educate my audience on boxing. It's one of my favorite sports. But let's talk about your amateur experience. What do you remember? First of all, do you have a lengthy amateur experience background, and what can you tell us about the amateurs?
I had a couple fights, around 70 fights, amateur fights.
Okay,
Traveled international, um, a few times, did a few tournaments overseas. Won, I think, 11 national titles here in
Mhm.
the States. So,
Wow,
yeah. And then overseas, I got 3 gold medals. So,
wow.
yeah, definitely got some good experience in my amateur career.
Now, what would you say? I've heard different fighters talk about this, but I'd like to get your opinion. What is the difference between the amateur style and the pro style? I hear that all the time, Dylan. I'm educate me on that.
I feel like the pro style is geared more towards, trying to really play shots and land the cleaner shots. Whereas in the amateur style, you're really trying to just get points and hit and not get hit and really and throw a lot more volume punches.
Mhm. And which do you prefer? Do you prefer? I mean, that's kind of a crazy question, but do some people, some I hear people say, they have the amateur style, and some people didn't have much success in the amateurs, but when they get to the pros, they adapt to the pro style. What do you think?
You know, I didn't have any problems with the amateur style or the pro style. I feel like I adjusted really well. Um, I like the pro style a little bit more because you're able to use your IQ a lot more and take your time in the ring and really pick your shots. Whereas in the amateurs, it's just go go go.
Great point. Great point. Cool.
What has boxing brought to your life? How's it made you a better man?
Um, it's definitely giving me like routine. Training every day. It teaches me good work ethic, how to have dedication and work hard every day. Try to be a better version of myself.
Hmm, I like that. I like that. Do you have any siblings that are coming up and doing boxing as well, or?
I have a few siblings, but I'm the oldest, but none of them box.
Okay.
Yeah, they play football. They box, but they don't compete.
Okay.
That was me, Dimmer. Well, let me ask you this. I'm going to go a little deeper. So you obviously you had unmatched skills. I mean, you walked into the Mayweather Boxing Club in a camp, and Roger Mayweather took interest into you. And of course, at that time, you weren't aware of how big that was. But obviously, you had a lot of success in the amateurs. You definitely, even now, you have an impressive record of 11-0. You got 9 KOs. Was there ever a moment in that time between the time you started boxing up to now where you felt a lot of pressure? Because I mean, it seems like you were known. Again, you were endorsed by the Mayweathers. Did you ever feel any pressure coming into the pros, or even now? Because obviously, some people deem you as a phenom. You had a lot of high stakes and people looking at you. Was there ever any pressure that you felt?
Um, Honestly, no, not really. I really don't try to think about that too much. I just try to focus on what I can control and training in the gym and fighting, what goes on in the ring. As far as what other people think about me outside of the ring or what their opinions are on me, I don't really try to focus on it too much. It's good to take some things and add them to your game, but as far as like really feeling the pressure and wanting to be something that I'm not. My dad told me that it was you have to stay inside of yourself regardless of where you're at. So
Great answer. Great answer. Great answer. I wish I could take that approach into life, But I would imagine you would have to have that's a great attitude to have as a boxer because at the end of the day, um, we do put a lot of pressure and you should go into the ring as relaxed as you can be. So that's great, man. I'm glad you got that. And you got that at a young age where that's very key for possibly being a world champion one day. So that's a great attitude. I'm glad you said that because my audience needs to hear that, especially
Thank
my
you.
young people.
I have a good team around me to keep my head on my shoulders. I just trust in them, and they tell me, to stay focused and keep my mind on the right path.
That's a good point. And let me elaborate on that. I'm gonna let Cole get in on this, but I hear that all the time. Demler, tell me about that. How is it important to have a team as a boxer? Because all of us, of course you go in that ring along. I mean, it's you in that ring, but talk about because boxing is an individual sport in terms of going in that ring, but how is important it is to have a team around you, especially going into being a professional. Tell us about how important it is, your team being around you.
I feel like having a great team is the most important thing. Like you said, boxing is a solo sport. You go into that ring alone on fight night, but really you're not really alone. You have your team with you. They're seeing things that you might not see in the ring, and as far as outside of fight night, it's great to have other people around you that share, a common goal and want you to be your best even when you want yourself to be the best. It's just a great environment, and when we're all pushing each other, we really achieve great things.
Now, what was that like? I mean, building that team, because I'm asking you this because I'm always curious. I don't know, but I mean, of course, I know your dad's around. You probably have people that help you, as far as meals, budgeting, things like that. What are some of the things that you have or some of the roles that are on your team, if you can share?
Yeah, I was gonna say I was really born with my team.
That's good.
My dad, he handles a lot of that stuff for me. He's my coach, strength trainer, all that. And of course, I do have other coaches in the ring. Coach Rich, he's the head of the gym that I train at, pound for pound boxing,
Okay.
and also my manager Bob Santos.
Oh, Bob! Shout out to Bob Santos. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely have a great team around me. That's guiding me on the path to becoming a world champion.
That's big. Bob Santos is your manager. I didn't know that. He got a lot of big Dominican fighters. I think he's involved with Carlos Adames.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else. What's the guy that just fought this weekend? I love his style.
You thinking of Edwin De Los Santos?
Yes, De Los Santos. Yes, he's been calling out Shakur a lot. But yeah, and then I think he's involved with Hector Garcia as well, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Right?
Hector Garcia. Yeah, he's Hector and Carlos. They're both in the gym with us. I train with them a lot.
We got to get to that because you training with champions, but we're gonna get to that later. Go ahead, Cole.
Yeah. So one of my questions, I always wondered this when it came to boxers. When it comes to selecting your fight, is it a team decision? Is it a personal decision, or is it your management's decision?
It's a combination of everything. Your managers want to give you the best fight. To make you, look the best and really challenge you. Your team, they want to make sure that you're in a fight that can push you, but while also um, wants you to win. And then me, ultimately, I pick the fights that will really showcase my skills. So we all come together collectively and decide, which route we want to go as far as opponents.
Okay. So thus far, what's the most memorable fight that you had?
Definitely my last fight. It was a great experience. Fought on a big card, Benavides versus Plant. Fought an undefeated fighter. So it was one of the biggest fights of my career. I fought at home, got to fight in front of all my, family and close friends, and Floyd Mayweather and Tank Davis were ringside watching me fight. So it was really just a big moment for me, and I'm really appreciative of being able to showcase my skills.
That's
good.
cool right
Big,
there.
big. Let's stay with your skills because I watched some videos on you and I wanted to get your personal opinion. Now, what do you consider your style? Because you've obviously got power. You got 9 KOs. You got within 11 wins, which is big, and it's big because you're in the lower weight classes, and you don't see a lot of power in those classes. So you definitely that's something unique that you use that's in your tool bag. But I also saw in your fights you understand range well, which is
Thank you.
great. But what do you consider your style? And you may have talked about this earlier, but I wanted to point that out because, like I said, I was watching videos. I'm like, man, this dude got power, and it's like you're at the lower weight classes. So when I think about power at the lower weight classes, I'm thinking about an Inoue, and he's got power, and that's what makes him special at his weight class, and that's what arguably might get him to win over Stephen Fulton. I don't know about that, but that's one of the things that Stephen's got to watch out for. But to me, you got power and you understand range. But what do you consider your style?
I consider my fighting style to be more of the boxer puncher. But I'm very adaptive in the ring. My dad preaches that you got to be able to fight every style and be able to adapt in any situation. Not every fighter is the same, so you're not going to be able to fight the same way every single time. So whatever style that presents itself in the ring, I feel like I can really adapt to that and not just hold my own, but do well, against that style.
That's great, man. That's a great skill to have. That's one of the things. One of my favorite fighters is Shakur Stevenson, and I feel like he adapts well. That's what I love watching about him. Bud Crawford is the same way. Being able to adapt, man, that's that's a skill that Floyd had. I remember Floyd talking about he never watched film. He just within the first 3 rounds, he kind of scouts his fighter right then and there, and then he adapts to what they're doing. So that's great, man. I also agree. You put it better than what I thought. I mean, yeah, when I was watching, I'm like, man, this dude can do a lot of things in the ring. Let me ask you this, and I'm gonna let it get back to Cole. I'm interested to know, and I want you to tell me this, and you tell me what you feel about this. Now, I've noticed that you've been invited to a lot of camps to spar. In particular, what sticks out to me is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's definitely Shakur. I know you got work with Shakur. I know you've gotten work with Devin Haney, and I believe you've also got work with Ryan Garcia, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty big, and I can imagine that they brought you out, for some big fights. In your opinion, why do you think they keep inviting you? Because that says a lot. I mean, you're a young fighter. You got 11 fights, you got 9 KOs, but to be invited out to these camps, I mean, that's big. Why do you think they keep inviting you? Because that speaks volumes to me. I mean, of course, I watched your videos, but like, man, you sparred Shakur, who I think is going to be one of the greatest fighters of all time before it's all said and done. You got Devin Haney, the undisputed champion. And then you got Ryan, the upcoming, he was just in a big fight with Tank, but they keep inviting you. Tell us why you think they keep inviting you to these camps.
Well, one, when you're picking out sparring partners to help you get ready for a fight, you want to find the fighter that has the style that matches the guy you're going to fight the best. So I feel like that's a big reason, why they always ask for me, me being a southpaw. You don't really find a lot of southpaw sparring, because southpaws are pretty rare in the boxing game. So, but besides that, I think, they really see my skill level and IQ, and I think they like the fact that I'm willing to be in there and not just survive in there with them and actually learn and want to get better and perfect my craft. So I feel like those are the 2 big reasons why they keep inviting me back.
So what do you think it is that separates these great fighters and fighters like yourself from the average fighter? Like, is there something what's the skill that stands out to you that you think every boxer needs in order to be on that, have that success that Pacquiao and Mayweather and everyone else had?
I think really it all comes down to IQ. When you get in the higher levels and you face better and stiffer competition, they're all going to be big. They're all going to be strong, fast, et cetera, and excel in different things. They might be the same everything as you, but it really just boils down to IQ and who can capitalize on the other's mistakes and who can really just make the other fighter fight their fight. I think that's what really separates the good fighters from the great fighters and the legends is the IQ.
Okay, okay. And what are you doing in regards to health, keeping your body healthy so that you can fight multiple fights every year? Is there like a special regimen? Do you have like a cook, a dietitian? Like, what do professional boxers have at their disposal?
Well, definitely training hard, working hard is one thing, sparring, training, stuff like that. But to go on nutrition, I'm on a diet, no junk food, no, you know, bad desserts or stuff like that. I'm eating clean, eating while still eating well. So definitely making sure my body is in peak condition, that I'm feeling right for fight night.
Okay.
So, Demler, we just got a few more questions. Are you good on time, or is everything good? You all right?
Yeah. Might have to be out of here before 5,
Okay,
15,
cool.
15,
All right.
5.
All right. Yeah, we only got a few more questions. All right. I'm curious to know because, again, this is I appreciate you coming on this interview and you're educating us a lot, especially my audience on the life of a boxer. But talk to us like right now. You're in camp. You're waiting an opponent for July the 29th. What does a typical day look like in a camp for a pro fighter who's getting ready for a possible fight? What does your day look like from sun up to sundown?
Well, today, woke up today, ate breakfast, went to the gym, sparred today, got some good rounds sparring, finished it off with some bag work, and so now I just ate lunch and doing an interview with you guys. So after this, I have to go to strength training, and then from there, I'll get my miles in, run, then I'll eat dinner, and then I'll make sure I go to sleep and get my 8 hours in, so I'm real well rested for the next day.
How many miles you logging right now in camp a day?
Well, around 4 to 5 miles, but not every day. So
Okay.
we don't run every day. Try to save the legs and make sure you know not burning out the legs too much.
Now, right now, you're fighting at. Are you fighting at super feather? Is that 130 or 126?
Yes, that's correct. 130.
130 super feather. Okay, so right now at the top of that division, and I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit. I believe I want to ask you about these two fighters and who you think will win and why. Ashaki Foster is at the top of your division, I believe, at the WBC, if I'm correct. And I think
Yes.
Emmanuel Navarrete. Who do you think wins out of that fight? If they decide to unify the division, who you think wins that fight and why?
That would be a great fight. You got two totally different styles. You got one boxer, Oshaki Foster, and then you have a come forward aggressive fighter in Emmanuel Navarrete.
Right.
So that's the makings of a great fight. As far as who I think will win, I'm not really sure. I feel like if the pressure's too much for Oshaki Foster, that could be a problem for him. But also, if Navarrete can't get inside and work and get past Oshaki Foster's boxing ability, I feel like that'll present some big problems for him. So I feel like the winner of that fight is going to be whoever comes in on top of their game and makes the least mistakes.
Well, you gave the correct answer. I was trying to get you to pick, but I like that. That's the and the reason why I asked is because you 100% right. I love you talk. I love your boxing IQ. But yes, Ashaki is more of the boxer. Navarrete is in your face, the pressure fighter. So yeah, I mean, I'm always gonna lean towards the boxer, but again, like you broke it down very well. If Ashaki can't stop Navarrete from getting inside, that's right. That's perfect. Let me put you on the spot again. Right now, I don't know if you can reveal this, but you tell me right now. Well, you tell me if you can answer this question. Now, you sparred Devin, you sparred Shakur. Tell me the difference between sparring the two, because I think they're both technical fighters. I tend to think that Shakur is more technical and more skilled, but it makes it sound like I'm down in Devin's skills, and I'm not down in Devin's skills because I know Devin is a skilled fighter. In fact, Cole is at odds with me. I know Devin won that fight against Lomachenko, but Cole thinks that didn't happen. But but anyway, can you remember the times that you spar both and what both do well, or what's the difference between the two?
Both fighters are really smart. They both have high IQs. Devin has a great jab. He has a great jab, great boxing ability. He could box you for 12 rounds, 12 rounds straight. And Shakur, he's willing to throw a lot more combinations than Devin. Devin's really a pure boxer, whereas Shakur, he could walk you down. He can box you if he wants to. He can walk you down if he wants to. Me personally, I feel like sparring with Shakur Stevenson, I feel like it was a real high level chess match, and I definitely think Shakur has the higher IQ out of the.
See now, I'm so glad, Demler. I hope we can get you back in the future, because when I say this stuff, I get criticized on my podcast by my partner, but I tend to think that Shakur is the more skilled. Now, Devin is bigger, and Devin is eventually going to have to go up to 140. Let me stay with that, and then I'm going to let Cole get back in. But let me ask you this. I got to ask you this opinion. Do you think Shakur should have taken that? Devin just offered him 25% to fight. He turned it down.
Yeah.
Now, my opinion is this. I think Shakur should have taken it, because even though I understand what he's saying about it's not being his worth, you get the shot at undisputed. And the thing about it is, if you beat this one guy who truly is probably not going to hang around at 135, and Shakur just got to 135, and you get a chance to take all the belts, I thought he should have took the deal. Tell me your opinion about that. I'm just picking your brain a little bit.
I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I see it from both sides. Right. I see your point. If you really think you could beat this guy, then why not take the less money and beat him, and it puts you in a better position where you have all the belts, and now you could fight, whoever. But at the same time, I also see, wanting to make sure that, you do get your money's worth, and you get paid what you feel like you should be paid. I mean, the challenger is always going to get less, but I feel like, not that less, yeah. But I definitely do see it from both sides.
So my question, regardless of weight class, who's your top 5?
Floyd Mayweather. Then I would have to say Andre Ward.
Thank you, Demler.
But remember who he said number 1, Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Demler. I'm sorry.
Who he said number 1, though.
Thank you. I'm glad you got somebody on here that knows boxing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, Pernell Whitaker.
Thank you, Demler.
I live with Pernell Whitaker, though.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Sugar Ray Robinson, and then I don't know. I'm tied between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford.
All right.
But now in no particular order, though.
All right, let me put you on the spot again. Top 5 current fighters. Because you just named the all-time great list right there, by the way.
Yeah. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Jerron Boots Ennis, Thor Stevenson. I don't know who I could put at 5.
What about Fury?
Fury's good. I don't know if he's top 5 though.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. He's pretty much saying everything I'm saying, Demler. Thank you. We're gonna let you go in a minute. But see, here's the thing.
He didn't say Davis. I don't think I heard you say Davis.
No, because he knows boxing, Cole. That's why. because he knows boxing.
Thank
That's
you.
why.
You heard him. He said he's definitely in the 5.
Listen,
Yeah.
Demler, I'm with you. What you just said, I've been saying for I see. Here's the thing. This is called debate with Bake, right? And so I get debated all the time that, I leave Tank out my top 5, and I understand. I know Tank has their power, but I'm favoring the guys that you were saying because I always talk about Boots, I always talk about Shakur, but I get ridiculed. So I am so happy. I have been vindicated today because I have a pro boxer here who knows boxing. So when I say stuff, people be like, "Oh man, you just hating on Tank." I'm not hating on Tank. I like Tank. I don't think he beat Shakur, but thank you so much for validating me. But let me ask you another question. And I'm gonna put you on the spot here. If you could build the perfect fighter, and I'm talking about skill wise, and you've been in the ring with some of the best, and I'm talking about attributes, things that different fighters bring. For example, if you could take certain abilities from fighters, certain qualities, and put them together, who would it be? And I'll give you an example. Is it Shakur's range? Is it Tank's power? Is it Bivol's jab? Or is it Boots' athleticism? If you could take different abilities and attributes from not current fighters, but all fighters of all time, and build yourself a perfect fighter, what would that look like? Would it be, like I said, would it be Floyd's jab?
I would take Floyd's IQ. Then I would take Shakur Stevenson's range. John Ennis's athleticism. Manny Pacquiao's combination punching and explosiveness. And then I would have to go Floyd again for the defense.
Perfect fighter.
Perfect fighter, in my opinion.
That is tough. And once again, you make me feel like I know a little bit about boxing. Thank you so much. But once again, yes. So, all right, Demler, let me ask you this. If everything goes right, let's get back to your career. If everything goes as planned, and I'm putting you on the spot again, how long do you think it takes for you to get a title shot?
Hopefully, if everything goes right within the next, 2 years. I feel like, my foot's in the door. If I keep putting on, great performances and really showcasing the best of my abilities, I feel like, I can climb up them ranks and hopefully get a title shot within the next 2 years for sure.
And then let me ask you this. Take us through a fight night. For example, let's go back through, take us through that day, that night, that day and that night where you're on the Benavidez card. Okay, you get ready to fight. What does, because I'm an ex-college athlete, and one thing that I always think about when I reminisce on my days is like my itinerary. Like, what does a game day look like? What does the day of the fight look like for you?
Well, before, fight night, I try to make sure that, everything is good. So I'll wake up in the morning, I'll eat, still eating healthy, make sure my body's, feeling good, drink a lot of water, make sure I'm real hydrated. Then I'll take a nap, right before we leave, I'll take a nap, really start to prepare myself mentally. I'm locked in the whole day, but, as the fight gets closer, you really got to start, locking in and, get to the venue. And you really just got to stay focused. I'll stretch out, warm up, make sure I'm nice and warm, get wrapped up, gloved up, everything, do some mitts, really visualize, everything that, could happen in the ring. And then once you step in that ring, it kind of, everything just takes over from there. And it's just natural at that point.
All right. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. If Errol wins, what does he have to do? How does Errol win?
I feel like Errol Spence just had to be Errol Spence. fight his fight. Go to the body a lot. Put the pressure on him, and like he said, try to break Terrence Crawford. I feel like that is really his keys to win. Fight his fight.
And Terrence?
I think Terrence will have to mix it up. Box, definitely box. Use the jab, keep Errol Spence from coming in and ripping those shots. But I wouldn't be surprised if he sat in there and got a little physical with him too. Terrence Crawford, he's pretty strong himself.
Yeah.
I've been in the ring and I actually sparred Terrence Crawford. So
Oh,
on
tell
top
us
of
about that.
on top of
Tell
his
us
IQ,
about that.
he's real smart. He's real smart in the ring. Definitely high IQ. I can see, why Shakur likes being around him and training with him and stuff, because you really learn a lot of stuff when you're in the ring with a guy like Terrence Crawford.
And I'm hearing, just like you said, I'm hearing he's very, very strong for his size. And you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. A lot of people don't know this, but Terrence Crawford used to be a wrestler, so he definitely knows how to play the leverage game and get strong on the inside when he needs to.
So who wins, Demler?
I don't know. It's a 50-50 fight for me.
Come on, Demler, give me something, man. Come on. Cause you're making all the great points. And I know you know these guys. I know you can't, but you know your box, you got great boxing IQ. All right, who are you leaning towards?
It really is hard for me to pick, because I like both fighters. I see a little bit of myself in both of them. So I just feel like whoever's gonna win the fight is whoever makes the least mistakes and whoever can capitalize on the other fighter's mistakes. I feel like that's who's gonna win.
So you think it's a 50-50 fight?
I think it's a 50-50.
All right. My last question, and I'm letting Cole, because I've been getting too excited because you've been validating me. Thank you, brother. You have really set me free.
Of course.
Does Jamel have a chance against Canelo? And if he does, why?
I think so. I think he does have a chance. He's a great boxer, and he carries some power in his punch. It's always going to be hard, fighting a bigger fighter. You never know how your power is going to carry up when you move up in weight. But attribute wise, I feel like he has the boxing skill and ability, to definitely give Canelo some problems.
Now he's going up 14 pounds. Now you've experimented with the body and keeping yourself in shape. How does he do that, Demler, without slowing himself down? How does Jamel move up from 154 to fight at 168? And Derek James said that he doesn't want him to go completely up to 168. He wants him at 163. But how does he do that based on your knowledge?
I feel like you just got to do what's comfortable for you. You don't want to be too heavy because you don't want to be sluggish. As long as you do it the right way, eat the right things.
Right.
Sure that you're getting the right nutrients in your body to be able to go up and, still feel good and still feel strong and fast.
Okay. Well, Cole, give us a last question, man. We know Demler's he's training, so we don't want to keep him too long. It's probably my fault because I've been talking because I feel good. And Cole, I'm going to run this broadcast back to validate that I know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Demler. We got to get you back on, but I'm gonna let Cole wrap it up. And we appreciate you coming on, Demler.
So one of the things that Bake and I always talk about is should there be only one champion for every weight class? What's your thoughts on that? Do you think that they should get rid of having all these belts and just have one champion? And do you think the champion should always have to fight the next greatest contender, or do you think he should be able to always pick and choose?
I don't know. Me personally, I do and I don't. I feel like one champion is cool, but at the same time, I feel like it's also cool, to have different champions to be able to, challenge the other champions to see who's really the top of the top greatest fighter. You're always gonna have different fighters that are great at different things, and I feel like to be able to test yourself against them, it really makes it more interesting when you have different belts and titles and stuff like that.
Okay.
Great answer. Great answer. I mean, I kind of agree with Cole in the sense, but I mean, I've gotten used to the commission. So the commission, the sanction bodies, all that. So I get it. I get it. But I do think I mean, you just so much politics behind these sanctioning bodies. But you know, that's the powers that be. Well, Demler, man, we thank you for coming on. We thank you for blessing us with boxing knowledge. We thank you for um, you know, your IQ and you being able to tell us about the boxing life. This is very good for my audience. Is you've been very educational. You got a bright future, man. You got a good head on your shoulders. I'm definitely gonna buy some more of your merch. I bought a yellow shirt that I'm trying to get uh before the fight. Hopefully I get it. But if not, man, I thank you for coming on. We're gonna be supporting you. If you ever want to come back on, let us know. We thank you so much, man. We understand that you don't have to do this. You're a professional fighter. You definitely blessed us tonight. Tell your dad, thank him so much. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know. If you come out to Houston, give us a shout, man. You go out to New York, let us know.
Yeah.
If you want to give out your social media at this time for people to follow you, you can do that now.
First things first, I would like to thank you guys for having me on. You know, this is a great podcast. I had a lot of fun, you know, sharing, and being able to, talk to you guys. It's a real great opportunity, and I'm real thankful for you guys for having me on. You guys can follow me on Instagram at DJJZ3Boxing.
There you have it, the War Machine on with the fellas at Debate with Bake Podcast. We thank them so much. Demler, we hope you're getting on that Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence card. Let us know because we definitely will be checking you out in the prelims.
I will.
But everybody, we want to thank you for this broadcast. Thank my man Cole for coming on and doing this thing. Want to thank Mo Serious Entertainment, Chuck, and all the gang, the Mo Serious family. This has been a great podcast. Again, we want to thank Demler Zamora III and Demler Zamora II for allowing him to come on. It's been real from Missouri City to Houston, all the way to New York, and we went to Vegas tonight, baby. Thank you so much. We'll catch up next week again. We'll do it again. We thank the boxing gods for allowing us to have a professional fight on the podcast. You can check this out on Debate with Bake Podcast. Stream this on Spotify, Apple, Google, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow Mo Serious Entertainment on Instagram and Facebook. Check out Mo City the movie. It's out now. Subscribe to Mo Serious Entertainment on YouTube. Catch you next week on Debate with Bake Podcast. And thank you from Las Vegas. Thank you from New York. Thank you for Houston. And we looking forward to the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford fight. We are out. Peace.